There is a reason that people keep buying real estate. Now, this podcast episode stemmed from a few things that actually happened over the last month. Both a podcast episode that's actually coming out later this year with a dear friend of mine, and then a conversation that I also had with another real estate investor. Basically, I've really started to pay attention to what people say and the actions that they actually take. Now, I think we all have someone in our lives who thinks that we are absolutely insane for wanting to invest in real estate. You probably have some uncle or a friend who's like, "Oh yeah, my friend started investing in real estate and they said their tenants were terrible. You shouldn't invest in real estate because you're going to have to deal with toilets or you're going to have to kick people out." All of this stuff. There is definitely, I think for every single person, there's someone out there who tells them about all the terrible things about real estate investing, yada, yada, yada. Yet somehow, people out there, even multi freaking billionaires, continue to this day to invest in real estate despite all of the troubles. And so we hear all of these people complain about real estate investing all the time, yet they're still investing in real estate. Even the people who are complaining still keep buying real estate. And I was literally on this podcast episode with one of my friends, and we were having a conversation about how he got actually started investing in real estate. And he had this friend who was a real estate investor. And every time this friend spoke to him about his investment portfolio, he just talked about all the things that were going wrong about his tenants, about whatever. And so my friend, he didn't get started investing in real estate for a really long time because he was like, "Oh gosh, my friend says it's terrible." And then a few years later, this friend now has like upgraded to this beautiful house, has this cool car, and is still like working the same corporate W 2 job. And my friend goes to his friend and is like, "Okay, well, so what happened? Like how did you afford all of these things? How are you able to upgrade your house? Like you have like the same job that I do or like even a lesser job than I do." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's the real estate. Like the real estate after X number of years of investing, it's actually giving me more freedom and flexibility, more disposable income that I can actually use to go buy the things that I actually wanted to do." So this guy who had been complaining over and over and over again was like, "No, but I kept investing. Like, yes, it sucked. There were parts of it that sucked, but I knew that at the end of the day, it was all going to be worth it." And so that's when my friend finally was like, "Oh, okay, I should probably start investing in real estate too." But that's why I say it's so important to take the complaint with a grain of salt. Like, yes, it's real estate. Things happen. Things are going to go wrong. Parts of it do suck, okay? But it's generally worth it. I think if you talk to any real estate investor out there, no one's going to say, "Oh man, I wish I'd never gotten started investing in real estate." No, usually what you see is people get started, things happen, things may go wrong, and then they just pivot their strategy and buy in a different way and they invest in a different way. And it's so funny because this guy told my friend, he was like, "Oh yeah, no, you're easy to complain to. So I can complain to you about my struggles with real estate." But it's like, okay, well, what are the actions that he's actually taking? And you think about it with, you might have a friend or maybe your parents, they fight a lot. They complain about their relationship, they fight a lot, but they're still together and they still love each other and they've been together for 20 years and that they are going to continue their relationship. So it's like, okay, what actions are they actually taking, right? Because that's going to tell you way more about what's actually happening and how they really feel about that situation than just taking their word for it. Okay. And so another thing popped up just a few weeks later with a friend of mine who's also a real estate investor, and she does Section 8 housing. And she was complaining about some of the struggles she had had, which are very real struggles and that you can have, right, while investing in Section 8 and while just investing in real estate in general. Like she had her basement flood and she had to evict a tenant, like all these things, right? Especially when you are investing in real estate, it is so important to have these conversations about the struggles, right? I think a lot of the time you'll see people suffering in silence and not wanting to talk about the struggles. I actually just recorded an episode about some of the struggles that I'm facing. But like at the end of the day, people still keep investing in real estate, even with all the struggles. And a lot of times, what you're really just going to see is people pivot their strategy so that it works better for them. And like I said, don't get me wrong, it is so important to vent sometimes. It's so important to complain, and just let it out, right? And it's important to also understand what you're getting yourself into, right? Real estate investing is a big responsibility. Owning properties is a big responsibility. It comes with fantastic upsides, but it also comes with some downsides. And that's just life, okay? Like, things happen. It's the same in your corporate job. Like, I'm honestly kind of annoyed that when I got into engineering, people never told me how much it would suck. Like, I had no clue what I was actually getting into when I got my corporate engineering job. I had no idea what I was really going to be doing and what my life was going to be looking like. And it's funny because I actually just went volcano boarding in Nicaragua. And I remember the guy was telling us that, like, we can control our speed on the board. So, with the volcano boarding, basically what it is you take this sled thing to the top of the volcano, you sit on the sled, and you just like dive bomb it down the mountain, down the side of the volcano mountain, like through the rocks. It's wild. It's literally freaking wild. This old wooden plank board that you sit on and just like let it go, Jesus take the wheel kind of situation, right? And I remember sitting at the top of this volcano, like, holy crap, this ring is steep. I was like, kind of like not hyperventilating, but I was getting nervous. I was like, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. And then I finally put my butt on the sled, and I'm like, oh no, this is way harder than it looks, way harder than I was thinking. The guy definitely downplayed it, right? Like, he did not really tell me how difficult this thing was going to be to control. And I'm literally like, there's a video of me on Instagram where I'm sitting on this thing and I'm like screaming because I'm like, because I cannot control this mountain and I'm going down what I know is the less steep section. So I know the real steep section is coming, and I just have to let go. I have to just let go, not let go of the board, but let go of like the need to have control over it because I wasn't getting that control. Okay. And so I remember my brain doing this switch that was like, stop resisting, just go along for the ride. It's going to be so much more enjoyable. Okay. And it really was. Like, I just like let my body full into it. I wasn't trying to control every single part of the situation. I was like, Jesus, take the wheel, right? And I came out alive. Yes, with a scratch on my hand, not the end of the world. I was covered in dirt, but that's kind of what real estate is like as well, right? You get catapulted into becoming a real estate investor, becoming a business owner, owning properties, having that responsibility, feeling like sometimes you're drowning a little, especially if you're getting like an Airbnb started, right? Like, anyone who has set up an Airbnb knows that, you know, the work just started when you close. Like, you close on your property, and then actually getting it set up and ready to go is where the real work lies. Where if you're doing a renovation or something like that. And yes, sometimes it feels like you're being catapulted into the abyss and you're torpedoing down a hill, and you finally will make it to the bottom. But like, you are going to make it to the bottom. Sometimes it may be on your butt because you had to get off the sled and slow down for a little, or sometimes you're just, gonna take it for a ride all the way down, but you will survive. I promise you will survive. And either you're gonna freaking love the ride, or you're gonna say, maybe let's tweak this a little bit next time so I'm a little bit less out of control. Because here's the thing, the people who are by far the most successful in real estate, in business, in entrepreneurship, in life, honestly, are the ones who are able to regulate their nervous systems and weather the storms. Like, that's just a fact. That's just life. If you can regulate your nervous system, you're going to have a way better time, a way more fun time dealing with everything that life has to throw at you. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed AF. Because real estate and entrepreneurship is a little bit of a roller coaster sometimes, but the upsides are so out of this world, freaking amazing. And the amount of personal growth that you go through in this is just life changing. And a lot of the time, when you can kind of make it through that hurdle, it can be super freaking sturdy and stable. But things do happen every once in a while, and you have to decide for yourself if you are going to actually be able to tolerate it. Because remember, people wouldn't be buying properties if the upside wasn't freaking awesome. People wouldn't keep purchasing real estate if there wasn't a huge benefit. Everyone would just stop doing it. No one would be doing it. So you need to decide for you if you are going to stop sitting on the sidelines and actually get in the game and actually start reaping the benefits. Because we have one life, literally one life that we are here to live, and you can either live it in the slow lane, watching other people do the thing that you want to do, or you can get in the freaking game. Actions speak louder than words. Do as the wealthy do. Anyone can say anything that they actually want, but what are the actual actions that the people who you want to be like are taking? Okay? What are they doing? Do that. Copy the people who are actually living the life that you want to live. Okay. End rant. Oh, I guess it wasn't really a rant. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this inspired you. I hope this gave you some extra motivation, some extra energy, and some life in there. Get out there. Start being bold. Start doing things. Start getting out there and creating the best freaking life that you deserve to have. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.